Welcome to another ranking video. You have no clue, this is like the third or fourth ranking I film in a row. I will upload them in different times, so I think this one is going up in September and we have today July 20th. So I am very positive that I will not add any more palettes to this brand, and if so, they will be included in a future ranking because for ranking, you know, you need some time to play with a palette to just rank it. And before we head into today's ranking of all my Cheeryep palettes, I know, looks crazy, but that's what it is. The lip of today is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Lip Blur in the shade Rose Blur. I have to admit, I haven't worn these actually since the review. I mean, I have put them on one or two times for videos again because I like to switch up. But just when I applied this today, I was reminded of how much I love this formulation. I have 6 Cheeryep palettes, so the ranking is quite short, and we're starting right away at number 6 with the palette that is also the number 6 in the Cheeryep line, so they do number their palettes, and this is Preference. This is a neutral palette that is leaning very, very warm. It does not give me a lot, to be honest, because it's way too soft for me, and to be honest, when you see the video, I probably will not have this palette anymore. I like it. I like the quality a lot. It is a beautiful quality palette, but the color story is just not what I am seeking for. That's why my least favorite, and I also don't see myself using it again. While at number 5, it's also a neutral palette, but the palette with the number 7, Stealing Hearts, much more up my alley. The cool tone, the purples, the lilacs, the silvers. This is tickling so much more in the neutral me than the palette in the shade or in the type Preference does. So Stealing Hearts at number 5 with this beautiful cool toned vibe. It is so amazing in quality. If you love cool toned eyeshadow palettes in a more neutral vibe, but you want to have that tad bit of extra oomph, Stealing Hearts from Cheeryep is the one to go for. At number 4, we have the only all shimmer palette. This is number 8, Ambition. Definitely a companion palette to all the other palettes, but a beautiful companion palette. If you are afraid of what you see here, let me answer your question. Yes, some of them are borderline flaky, but they apply so easy. It is insane. They have beautiful shifts. Not all of them are shifty though, but when they are insanely good. They are kind of soft, kind of light, but also opaque, and they layer just very well. They also mix very well. They're just unexpected good. At number 3, and I swear to God, this is a coincidence, I did not plan this, palette number 3 from Cheeryep. This is the Focus palette. Come on. You know at this point why a palette with a color story like this is making me so insanely happy. Everything in this palette makes sense. Everything is working, and you can use this palette, although you do not have like specific transition shades. Use the white and the gray to tone down some of the other colors to get a more softened look. Or if you are like me, you mix and match sometimes, so you can perfectly, for example, mix and match these two and get amazing looks. You can add to this also the shades from the Ambition palette. So pretty. And this shade here that shifts purple, aqua, lime, but it has a like greenish turquoise base. Oh, it looks so fucking insanely good. Some of these have holo specs. Some of these are just mattes with glitter specs. Some of these are true one swipe metallics, and some of these are iridescent toppers. It just works. Quality 10 out of 10. At number two, this is the one that started it all. This is the palette that not only started my Cheeryep collection, this is the palette that started my obsession with Asian makeup. This went viral in January of this year, and this is the Dragon Ascension palette. This is a very uniquely designed 32 pan eyeshadow palettes with a few of the most amazing shimmers out there. And here it is, I'm telling you, this is expensive. We're talking way over $200 for this, depending on where you buy this. If you want to have the vibe, not this palette, but the vibe, and I think the vibe is dark, gothic, but still playful, shimmery, not so much light, but much more intensity, badass, boss bitch, whatever vibe. Focus is a very, very good dupe for the palette. A couple months ago, I did some swatch examples of Focus versus this one, but I found not so many very similar shades. But I think when I just hold them side by side, the vibe is really similar. And I think Focus might even be a bit more versatile because of the mattes that are in here. This one has some nice mattes too, but they're not very much for blending. This definitely needs a companion to have cohesive looks. You can do looks with this palette, let alone, I proved it. I think I did a 3 looks video, and then I also did a palette bingo with this. So it is possible, but it takes some time. Only one shade in this is a dud, and that is this marbled rainbow shade. This is one of the worst textures I've ever touched. And my favorite palette out of them all is no surprise. This is number 9, Floating Life. And this is in collaboration with Freya 86FF. She is an Asian beauty creator, and everything I did with this palette so far was a hit. Every shade in here is a hit. Some of them, again, they seem to be very flaky, but it's a level of flakiness that you can work with. For example, if you have seen my Narimi video a while ago where I, for example, used Exotic Sheep, this is a level of flakes that when you apply it on the eyes, it cracks. These flaky shades, they do not crack on the eye, at least on mine. I can always just speak from my point of view. The composition here makes so much sense. I love the way she paired the shimmers with the mattes. It all is just insanely good, and I highly recommend, if you want to get only one palette from this brand, get Floating Life as long as you can get this. All the palettes, aside from the Dragon one, you can get over on Lookhealthystore, and you can save 12% with my code ELLAGRAM. I will link them down below. Since I do film this in July, I'm not really sure if they all are available. I just want to apologize if they aren't, but I want to make you aware of the fact that this one was always intended to be a limited edition, and once this is gone, it's gone forever. But Cheeryep has so many more palettes that I haven't tried yet. They have one that is super colorful pastel. That's just not my vibe, so I didn't get it. And honestly, although I only have now 5 palettes from them because I decluttered that super warm neutral palette, I still think that Cheeryep is one of the best Asian beauty brands out there because they have such innovative textures, such innovative colors and themings, and I can't wait to see what else they're coming up with and maybe who else they're collabing with. Have you tried this brand now? I feel like 2024 is the year for Asian beauty brands to rise, and I'm very happy that I tried it too. Let me please know down below if there is no palette that you want to try or you haven't tried it yet, but you want to push the algorithm with a comment, comment Dragon. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.